What's up, guys? John here. President Joe Biden is now considering to declare a climate emergency.
President Biden is sounding the climate alarm to gain favor with youth and progressive voters.
The White House is considering declaring a national climate emergency.
CNN, CNBC, Bloomberg, Fox News, WhiteHouse.gov, every publication, every media outlet is talking about this over the last couple days. And if this does in fact happen, if this is declared, certain states are going to get hit radically more than others. I'm talking Florida, Texas, California, and one other that I'm going to show you in a second. On top of this, all oil and gas production in America would essentially grind to a halt. Think about what the net result of that will be. Higher food prices, higher home insurance prices, higher tax rates. Everything will get much more expensive. And let's not forget, Jerome Powell said he will not cut rates until inflation goes down.
The committee does not expect that it will be appropriate to reduce the target range until it has gained greater confidence that inflation is moving sustainably toward 2%.
We could be walking into a very interesting and unique scenario, to say the very least, one in which we see many homeowners getting priced out of their own homes because they cannot afford what's coming next. In this video, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to show you the facts word for word. This has been in play for a very long time. I'm going to show you some pretty interesting information here that's going to, I think, change the way in which you look at property insurance, affordability in America. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share this content to educate the people about what's going on in America's economy. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we would love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free call for tomorrow. Take a look at this. So, White House ways declaring this emergency to stifle oil development, right? 6 days ago. Then start scrolling down here. 10 hours ago, they're considering this. Then you put the last 24 hours. The last 24 hours, you have National Review, CBS. You have even right here, like on UN News. You start to look at this, and they already have a task force that is prepared for this. So you think about this. They have a task force. See, this is for Politico. Politico said this is what the net result will be. When was this? 2 years ago. They've been kind of prepping and talking about what this is going to likely look like. Well, they say invoking a national emergency over this would enable President Joe Biden to unleash sweeping actions to restrain greenhouse gas production, such as banning U.S. oil exports, ending offshore drilling. We're speeding the manufacturing of electric vehicles, right? But some of those steps would politically be explosive and could even prove ruinous to his party's fortunes by sending gas prices soaring. Others would threaten to alienate European allies looking to U.S. fuel supplies to ease the dependence on Russia. And any executive actions by Biden his taking would run the risk of falling to the same conservative Supreme Court that has already hobbled his regulators' ability to rein in the pollution. Many of Biden's supporters in Congress are urging him to go bold nonetheless, pointing to record heat waves melting around the globe, wildfires ranging from the U.S. and Colorado River flows dwindling from the worst mega drought in over 1,200 years. So you look at this, you're like, all right, well, if this happens, I mean, look, they say supporters also on the move note that 39 countries have already declared these emergencies, as have nearly 200 U.S. cities and counties, right? So once this goes on a federal level, it's going to be game over. Now, what I think is going to be interesting is when you look at this scenario here. So these are the states in which are going to be higher risk. It's going to be California, it's going to be Texas, Louisiana, Florida, South Carolina. Now, you think about what this would do to property values. Property values, single-family homes, are mainly based on a buyer's budget. If a buyer is buying a property based on being able to afford a $2,000 or $3,000 mortgage payment and a $150 a month home insurance bill, if that home insurance bill goes to $250, to $300, $350, what is that going to do to their purchasing price? It's going to continue to dwindle. What is that going to do to a lender's perspective on lending capital on those properties? Well, they're likely going to pull back, wondering where an insurance rate's going to be in 2 years, in 3 years, in 4 years. Will that same buyer be able to afford this property? Answer is probably not in many cases. So we could see a scenario where a lot of these properties end up falling in a very, very, very big way in terms of valuations because of what's about to happen to home insurance. I mean, look at this. Limited home insurance options in California as major carriers pull back. Right? Last week, April 25th, Yahoo Finance. Then California's home insurance is being dropped due to density. What does that mean? Right? So these insurance carriers are going to find ways to pull out and hike rates across the board. You have Texas. What in the bleep is going on with Texas home insurance? Right? When did this come out? It just came out. Right? It just came out 2 days ago. It actually came out today, right? April 24th. Now, then you have, look, policy expiration date. This is right here, the Bay Area. You are hereby notified that in accordance with terms and the conditions of the reference policy that your coverage will expire or non-renew effective 12:01 a.m. next month, right? And the reason for the cancellation, reduction in high concentration area due to catastrophic exposure management. It's all the same, right? Now, what I'm very fascinated about right now and kind of how this correlates is what banks are going to be doing in response to all of this, because it's all correlated perfectly. So just in an office complex in Illinois sells at a brutal 88% discount. They bought it in 2007, right? 2007 for $64 million, and they just sold it for $7.9 million, $22 a foot. Can you imagine? Like, this is absolutely shocking. If someone were to tell you last year, 2 years ago, that you would see commercial real estate trading at 70, 80, 90% off. I mean, look at this deal here in San Francisco. This San Francisco skyscraper, breaking. A building in San Fran just traded hands at a shocking 90% discount. 995 Market Street was acquired for $6.5 million, or $72 a square foot, at a public auction last week. The previous owner paid $62 million for that, and they bought it for $6.5 million. People are buying homes in nice areas for $6.5 million. Now you can buy a, like a mid-rise, right? You can buy a mid-rise in San Francisco for the same exact price. Absolutely shocking. You couldn't build this building for, anywhere close to $72 a foot. But this is what's going to happen. So when you look at what's going on with interest rates, what's happening with home insurance, what's going on with capital requirements with banks, it's going to push to one thing very, very clear, that we're going to see office real estate crashing. We're going to see home values getting punished in many areas due to what's going to happen with home insurance. And once this situation is declared, which if I were a betting man, I would bet that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. They've been kind of planting the seed that this is what is likely going to be coming 2 years ago in Politico, right? So this is the constant conversation, the conversation about electric vehicles, about phasing off fossil fuels. This is what is likely going to come. And so those that are, following this closely, I believe are going to have more of an edge. What I do believe is going to be a really big curveball coming is it's not just the electric vehicles. They're talking heavily about electrifying single-family homes to monitor and reduce energy use. So as these electrification standards come, these aren't cheap to do for properties. They have billions and billions of dollars allocated in ways in which low-income homeowners can get loans to be able to go out there and do these upgrades to their properties. So if this gets declared, it's not just going to be electric vehicles, it's going to be sweeping across the economy to single-family homes, to property insurance, to bank lending. It's going to be a major, major change. And that's why I think when you look at what a lot of billionaires are doing right now, Invitation Homes, even Tom Steyer, who ran for president in 2016, he is decarbonizing his entire real estate portfolio. A lot of these large private equity companies are heavily invested in where this is all going. And why? Because it pays, right? It pays to be invested in this in advance of it actually happening. What you don't want to do is scramble in 2025 or 2026 or maybe even this year and then try to get materials for these upgrades around the same time that tens of millions or potentially more Americans are trying to do these upgrades to their properties, flipping out their cars, doing all these different changes and modifications. What do you think about this scenario? Do you think this will get declared? And if you do, what do you think the net impact will be? Do you think we'll see inflation on food prices skyrocket? You think about that. If gas prices go up and car insurance goes up, traditional, combustion engine vehicles are going to go down in a very, very, very big way, because how many people are going to want to opt in for that type of purchase? Right? Not as many. It's going to put more pressure on more Americans and everyday households. Let's have a conversation about this in the comment section below. Let me know if you think this is going to get declared and what you think the net result will be of this. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself, what I believe is going to be, without doubt, one of the greatest rug pulls in American history, we'd love to help fix your credit. If you're thinking about getting funding, those that made a lot of money the last 30, 40 years, they did it during the hard times. They did it when things were hitting the fan in the 90s in the real estate market in New York City. In 2009, 2010, 2011, they ran out and they invested when things were tough. I think the next couple of years are going to be tough. So if you're thinking about getting funding or financing, we'd love to help fix your credit to position yourself for the best funding available. At GreatCreditFast.com, you can click the link in the description just below this video, schedule a free call for tomorrow, and I'll catch you next video.